I know, if you tuned into AEW Dark at the scheduled start time last night, there was nothing there. I looked around, I did some research, and apparently it was mechanical issues, but don't worry, there has been some fallout to this because we added 6 months to Luke Harper's contract. But we got it eventually. That's the beauty of on-demand content. Even if, it gets lost in the abyss at the start, you can always bring it back and throw the love into people's faces. We've also got to draw a line under it. We've got to put a full stop on that sentence. And that's why my name is Simon Miller. You are watching WhatCulture Wrestling. And we are going to up those downs for AEW Dark. Tony Schiavone has a new co-host for the show, and it's Dasha Gonzalez, who used to be Dasha Fuentes on WWE. And all I'm going to say is that she was a lot better on this than she was doing Raw or SmackDown, and I don't think that had anything to do with her. Just saying. The first match was Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard in his corner taking on Michael Nakazawa, and I cannot wait to see what people thought of this. You just never know what's going to come on AEW. I like nonsense, I like dumb stuff, is getting it up. While it will always be a hot topic in wrestling, I'm a big fan of the fact because it is predetermined. Really, as long as everybody in the match agrees, you can kind of do whatever you want. And that's why Nakazawa once again built his fight around baby oil. Shawn Spears was in control of this match too until the baby oil was introduced. At that point he was getting really mad and he was trying to wipe it on the referee before both he and Tully Blanchard, a legendary member of the Four Horsemen, were just bumping around because the baby oil was so slippy. If you were quiet enough when you were watching this, you could hear Jim Cornette freaking out. You know how it ended too? Good old Mike went to hit Spears with a thong. Shawn was able to block it. He smashed him instead with a brainbuster, and he walked away with the victory, which goes to show if you are going to hit somebody with your pants, make sure you don't miss. I'll use this juncture as well to let you know that MJF was on commentary this week, and I really like this idea of having guest announcers every time Dark does make its way to YouTube. We had Taz last week, now we're getting MJF, and he was very good. He stayed in character throughout. Every now and then he called Jungle Boy Jack Perry, which I can only imagine is a swipe at all those fans that get mad at Jim Ross when he does it. He can have it up. Next up was Allie and Sadie Gibbs taking on Big Swole and Mercedes Martinez, which means if you're interested in getting to know the women's roster on All Elite Wrestling a little bit more, Dark is the program that you head to. And while this wasn't bad, it didn't really get going as expected, and also the fans, for whatever reason, just couldn't give two hoots. And we take the finger of power and very sadly, we point it over there and we give it a down. A large reason for this confusion, if you were a TV viewer, or a YouTube viewer I guess, is that every now and then there was action going on in the ring, but the camera person decided to shoot the crowd instead. So you knew something massive was going down, but we weren't allowed to see it. And I know we're still having some production problems as All Elite Wrestling find its way, I'd really rather they went away soon. Things got going towards the end when Gibbs did a pretty damn good cartwheel dive over the top rope onto her foes before picking up the win for her team after she hit Big Swole with a moonsault. And look, everybody here can smash it. I just don't think this was necessarily the best evidence on that. And also, given that we are talking about a tag match in All Elite Wrestling, we do need to bring up the point that we are now falling into this routine that around about 5 minutes in to any tag team match, the rules just go out the window and everybody goes crazy. And it's still fun for now. It's becoming, the words, it's becoming law of diminishing returns. If you do it every single time, which by the way, we did in our main event too, it's just not as fun and you start to notice it more, and that's when it becomes jarring. So maybe we just need to back that off a little bit. Right, okay, I have been debating this for a while, but now is the day, now is the time I have decided to introduce the counter into All Elite Wrestling. Because seriously, all you need to do is say the word shit, and that means a feud is on. We've got a video package here for B. Priestley versus Britt Baker, which is going down on the pre-show at Full Gear, and at one point she just looked right into the camera and said shit. And I think that's why the feud may even be happening, because we said the word S-H-I-T. But I do want to shout out Britt Baker, because I thought she showed more personality and more character here than she has done since I was introduced to her a couple of months ago. She was even talking about the specifics of what your mouth is, because she is a dentist. I thought that was really cool. The best gimmick of this ilk since Isaac Yankem. A weekly undesirable to undeniable segment also followed this, and this week we had Jimmy Havoc and that made me happy because he's a Brit, he's living his dream, he's kicking all the ass, and I'm a Brit too. Also, I just think he's a swell dude. He was here talking about all the nonsense he's had to go through in his life, but he managed to overcome it, and now look where he is, at one of the biggest wrestling companies in the world. I just like these from start to finish. They make me feel good inside. It makes me feel like I've gone to a party and everyone's like, oh Simon, so glad you're here. I mean, that doesn't happen when I go to parties. People throw stuff at me and I'm ducking, they're going, you bald asshole. But I've learned to deal with it. However, Havoc was then in a match with Joey Janela and they were taking on Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy. And this was a little bit crazy, but overall, good up. Before we do go on though, I am calling shenanigans when it comes to the announcers because they told me that Marco Stunt was 5'3". Now one, I don't care how tall Marco Stunt is. We're in 2019, height in pro wrestling doesn't really matter. But two, there is no way that Marco Stunt is 5'3". I have interviewed Mr. Stunt and he's a cool dude, I like him a lot, and I hope he goes on to smash it, but that is not true. That is a barefaced lie. Don't try and pull the wool over my eyes, AEW commentators. It itches. He was wearing a Luchasaurus mask though, so that brings up the opportunity to say shout out to that man, and I hope your healing powers are running wild and you can get back in the ring soon. I miss you. I miss the dinosaurs. Amazingly, if I was going to break this down into one sentence, I would say it was good technical wrestling mixed with biting, and that's what we did. Jimmy Havoc at one point was just like, man, I'm going to bite you. So when Jungle Boy got in the ring after a hot tag, he was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna bite you as well. Also, on the topic of that hot tag, that is when the crowd just came alive. Jungle Boy is gonna be a huge star. Hell, maybe he already is. What I didn't understand though was the ending, so if you could help me out, I would appreciate it. Because Jimmy Havoc was in the ring and he got a staple gun, and he was like, oh, I'm just gonna go and staple someone's head. But then Joey Janela got in, and of course they were tag team partners, and he took the staple gun away, and he was like, no, 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 you are not going to do this. Now, I understand there would be some dissensions in the ranks, because at one point Jimmy had accidentally hit Joey, and Joey had accidentally hit Jimmy, but you still want to win, and why would you want to stop your partner from launching an offensive attack on your opponents, unless of course you don't want to lose via DQ. But at this point, Janela had already done loads of stuff where he was breaking the rules, so clearly he didn't care about the DQ. Down. And that didn't even tie into the finish because Jimmy was still helping Joey, even though Joey at this point staple gunned Havoc right in his face. I don't know about you, but if someone does that to me, I'm not going to be very happy. It may take me a good few weeks to get over it. But yeah, then Janela was on the top rope with Marco Stunt. He gave him the most devastating top rope package power driver I think I've ever seen in my life. I thought I died, but they walked away with the victory. And Jimmy Havoc was obviously annoyed because his face hurt, but then he just walked off. You tell me. It was different, which is always good, and I guess we do need to see where this is going to go down the line, but it left me baffled and completely took the spotlight off of Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy as they just faded into the background like an old scary picture. We did get an angle to finish the show though, which I personally really like. If you do want to dub dark the AEWB show, which I think is really unfair, they're still giving you plenty of reasons to tune in, because you know, it's forming the wider universe when it comes to All Elite Wrestling. I didn't want to use that word for obvious reasons, but it's the only one that came to my head. It was, however, Tully Blanchard approaching Joey Janela, who was having his cigarette backstage, and he was all like, look Joey, last time we met, I didn't appreciate how you treated me because you put your cigarette out in my drink. Therefore, here's my brand new friend Shawn Spears, and he is going to force you to eat that cigarette. And that's what happened. Like, the camera panned away, so you just got the idea of it, you didn't actually see it, but still. That is a pretty screwed up thing to do. Also, it's not a good diet at all, so now Joey Janela's macros are going to be all out of whack. Yes, these two are feuding now, but even if they're not, you know they'll probably have a match on AEW Dark, and there's another reason to tune in. I tell you, I like what they're doing. I'm all right with it all. With that said, yes, if you want to get really critical, this was probably the worst episode of AEW Dark we've had so far, but worst isn't even a fair word. We should have said least good, so I'm changing it to least good, and that's why when we get the spinning arrow, love that thing, kiss for you. It does get an up. It's just, it was 1 hour 2 minutes this week. 1 hour 2 minutes, and it flew by like a bird that had just given birth and was so happy, and it was telling his bird friends, oh, I'm so happy I've given birth. That's a real thing. And there's some people out there that are now going, oh, AEW Dark makes All Elite Wrestling seem like some kind of B show. It really waters down the product. You can just not watch it. It's so easy. You just don't tune in on a Tuesday. And also, I know loads of people are watching it because I've seen the viewing figures, and also when it didn't go live at its intended time, the internet just went absolutely nuts. must be doing something right. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's AEW Dark. I know you won't agree with me, but that's what they're for. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE and watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. I'm doing that shadow boxing thing. Remember that time Natalya and Ronda Rousey were as tag team? And Ronda Rousey was doing this backstage, and Natalya was just doing weird squats? Generally the weirdest thing that's ever happened in pro wrestling. Go watch it, you'll see. My name is Simon Miller. Thank you, as always, for watching me. And we've still got loads of up and downing to do this week. I'll be back tomorrow to up and down AEW Dynamite. Then we'll do SmackDown. And then we've also got a pay-per-view known as Full Gear. I'm winding myself up. A lot of wrestling is coming my way. I'll see ya when I see ya.